Okay, so to begin this evening, first of all, welcome everybody. I would like to say the Pledge of the Allegiance, if that's okay with everybody.
That's fine.
Okay, I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all. Sorry, Sean. You looked like you were. All right, so Jody, roll call, please.
Scott Herbst.
Here.
Dave Felsing.
Here.
Pat Reinbold. I know you're here, Pat Reinbold. Is she muted?
If you're on your phone and you need to unmute, you can press *6.
Okay. We'll come back to her. Sherry Weinzerl.
Here.
Josh Novotny. Carol Newbert.
Here.
June Crawford.
Here.
Mayor Gillespie.
Here.
Pat Reinbold, are you here? We lost her somewhere. In addition, it sounds like we have Chief Beecham, and we've got Mike Gallagher and Sean Gallagher and Mary Papik.
Hello.
Can you hear, Carol? Can you hear me?
Yes, June,
Yes,
we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. I forgot to do the last entry, I guess.
Okay. Meeting starting.
All right.
Okay, so on to correspondence.
None for this month.
None for this month. Okay.
Yay.
On to the minutes of the meeting. Can I get an approval of the minutes of the March 23rd, 2020 meeting?
So moved.
Approved.
I agree.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion's carried. I believe we'll be skipping public comments since there's no public. On to Mayor. Bill?
Yes, I just have one quick thing. The chief can update you about the activities in the borough. We've been delivering meals that have been donated through the Hotel Saxonburg, What's Cooking, and Novotny's Pizza. We're up to somewhere around 200 of those.
Wow.
There's a couple of us that get together several days a week and make calls and try to line people up. We've had a lot of help from people in the community providing names of people that are in need. We've got a good list of those that are in need. The police have been doing an excellent job in delivering, and they've had help from Kathy Wiltrot and Phil Wayne, also handling deliveries. So it's gotten down to a pretty good system of teamwork now. Right now we have probably 16
I have a
or so
question.
meals. Yes.
I have a question about the meals.
Yes.
I did get the call about the meals last week, and there was a few families that I don't know their last names in my complex. I was wondering if they got any deliveries to them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what names you're talking about. We have about 8 families in that complex that we've been delivering to.
Okay. Because I know the apartment numbers, but I don't know their names.
Yeah. If you get the apartment number or the names for the apartment numbers, just send me a text or an email, and we'll, if they're not on the list, we will add them.
Okay, I just have the apartment numbers. I said I don't have the names.
Okay, you
I
can
can
send the
se- I can
apartment
send-
number if you want.
All right, I'll look up your email. And
It's on any correspondence that's sent to all of the people on council. You'll be able to find the email in that chain. It's saxonburgmayor@gmail.com.
yeah, I know. I can find it.
Okay,
It's no problem.
all right. But yeah, just to finish, we will be continuing to deliver as donations are available. There's probably enough donations for maybe 5 days this week to continue. And
Bill,
that's all I have for now.
Bill, if you need
Yes, Carol.
help, let Joe and I know.
I'll do it.
Okay, Aunt
Thank
Pearl
you.
really appreciated it.
Yeah, it was good to get one for her.
Yeah.
That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayor, and we really appreciate that all of it that you've been doing. I'm sure that the townsfolk also really appreciates that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's more others than me, though.
Okay, on to the chief. Joe, do you have anything tonight?
Just briefly, our biggest concern still would be, property crimes and fraud. We haven't seen really much of an uptick in that. We are getting some suspicious activity calls. They may be a little elevated, but other than that, it's pretty much just stay the course. That's really all I have.
All right, thank you so much. Sorry, my wasn't not being able to hear real well, so excuse me for a moment while I was turning that up. See if this makes any difference. Okay, on to Mary.
Okay. Sherry, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. The first thing I would like to do, the easy one, please pay the bills. I'd like a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Pay the bill.
Okay,
I
that
agree.
doesn't work for me. Say your name and that you're first, and say your name and that you're second.
David Felsing, motion to pay the bills.
Carol
Second,
Newbert,
June
second.
Crawford.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Okay, I gotcha.
You're welcome.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say
No.
aye.
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 Any nays? Motion's carried.
Thank you. The next item is actually a repeat. 2 months ago, we approved advertising ordinance 473 for the franchise agreement for Armstrong Utilities, but then we did not have the March meeting at the appropriate time, so we were not able to adopt that ordinance. I'm asking for permission to re-advertise it so that we can adopt it at the May meeting.
Re-advertise Carol Newbert.
Thank you.
I agree. June Crawford.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion's carried.
The next item, we have a request for a per capita tax exoneration for Mara Thinnis on Adderhole Road as a full-time student. I would ask for a motion.
I agree with it.
This is Scott. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion's carried.
The next pertains to the emergency declaration made by the mayor. The solicitors have advised that council needs to ratify that declaration. So I am asking council to please ratify the emergency declaration by the mayor, and I would ask that the solicitor step in and say anything that we need to know reference to that.
No, the only thing that was with Act 15 that became law today was signed by the governor yesterday, is that if you hold any emergency meetings pursuant to the emergency declaration, you have 20 days to have the minutes posted on your website. So if you've had any emergency meetings previously and you've approved those minutes, you should get those posted.
Okay, I'm making that motion to ratify the emergency declaration.
I'll second it, Scott.
Got you.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion's carried. Mary?
Okay, next is, I would like council to be aware, all of the April events in the park have canceled. We had one that was actually a cancellation. Everybody else has moved to later in the year to dates that were open. The second cancellation was a non-paying event. It was the event that council approved for Carter Tackett's niece. They have canceled that one completely, but everybody else has been moved to later in the year with the exception of one. So right now we're not looking like we're going to lose too many. It depends on what happens as we move through May and start looking at the June events. But even for the June events, the early ones have postponed till later in the year. The only event now that stands between now and the beginning of June is the Memorial Day celebration. Both the mayor and I have been attempting to contact the coordinators for that to find out what their plans are. So that's the only one that's kind of pending. And then the next event after that would be the primary election. So we're in pretty good shape from a hall rental standpoint, needing to worry about, are we going to have to cancel on someone? The next item after, go ahead.
Mary,
Yes,
Mary,
yes,
I know the election is June 2nd,
yes.
and I know that that our governor wants to open up on May 8th.
Yes,
He wants to open some of the businesses around May 8th. So it might not affect for the election for June 2nd.
right. We don't know, and we won't know until the middle to the end of May what the plans
Okay.
will end up being for that. That's up to the
Yeah.
election board, not us.
Yeah, I know. I'm just asking. That's all,
Right.
to understand that better myself.
Yes, that decision will be made by the election board or by the state. We don't control it. We just have the place available for them.
All right.
Okay. The next item, and the one that we do control, is Mingle on Main Street. I've been in touch with Megan. She has not had any official correspondence related to the similar events that she participates in Pittsburgh, but she is fully of the opinion at this time that we should not attempt to have a May Mingle.
Mary, I agree with that. I think we hold off on like the other ones because we don't know where the governor is going to go after the May 8th. So, yeah, I'd say May 21st, I'd say that'd be a good idea to cancel it and see what happens in May about the June, July, and August and September's mingle. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree too. I
Okay,
also agree too.
So at this point, I would refer you to Jody's portion of your packet and to ask Jody to step back in here to give you the options for refunding for people who have paid for the entire season. A reminder that when they pay for the entire season, they get a discount. So Jody.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Jody.
Hi.
Hello.
So we have 7 vendors so far. We've taken in a little over $1,000. It's $1,057.50 throughout, and some of those people are only May, some are only June. I don't have anybody for only July, one for only August, one for only September, and then the rest of those people, we have 7 vendors who chose what we're calling the multi-pass, which is the whole season long pass. Some of them are split up into being a hot food vendor, which is our more expensive ticket, and some are craft vendors who are going to be the $15 ticket. So we know what they paid. The way Planning Pod, our software works, you can do a one-click and it will give them back their money, all of it at once. It won't give them back partial bits of money. So anybody who only signed up for May, we can just click a button and I can send all that back to them, no problem. And we can come up with some sort of language that apologizes and, you know, kind of lets them know what other event dates we think are still tentatively available, things like that, just to give them information. And then for the 7 vendors who chose the multi-pass, we would just have to calculate it out. I think it winds up being about $36 per mingle instead of the full $40 if you were a hot food vendor. So we would just have to calculate what exactly their payment was, whether it was the 36 or it was 15 for a craft vendor for one mingle night only, and we'd have to issue a check for each of those people. But again, the numbers, as you can see, it's 7 checks. It's not 500 checks, it's 7. And we have information on all of those people, where they're at. We've got phone numbers, we've got email addresses, we've got home addresses. So we've got all the information that we need in order to do that. We don't have to go looking for it. So
I say we hold off to sign any checks until we're out of the woods with everything else going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't just issue them immediately. Let's wait until, after the May 8th deadline for the stay-at-home order. And I'm sure people will understand that, because we don't want to be giving them a check now and then if we end up not next month, another one. Thoughts, anybody else?
I would agree with that.
I agree with it too.
I have
Okay.
no problem with that.
Okay, do we need to make a motion or anything on this?
Yes.
should we also maybe put some information up on the website, on the payment page that kind of lets people know whatever the motion ends up being, that we're canceling May, that we aren't sure if you've paid for May, money will be coming back to you in the form of whatever, a check or this or that, just to kind of give people the information that they're craving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree about that.
Just to clarify, the people who paid just for May, are we going to issue refunds to them now? Because if they only did May, I mean, it would make sense just to get that kind of like, kind of like done and out of the way in my mind. But like the other ones that we have to sort of prorate or whatever, I mean, I agree with not really doing anything with that yet. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think we should refund the just May? Or, I mean, how many of them are there?
7.
For just May?
7 for just May, and then I have another 7 that were multi-pass. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with refunding the May ones if we're going to cancel for May and they're just for May only.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in putting that up, I don't think.
Right, and we can even do something on the multi-pass, that their refunds will be issued after May 19th. That's our next meeting. And that way we'll know what we're going to do with Jim.
Right. That sounds good to me. Mary, did you want to make that motion or give us wording for that motion, or one of the solicitors?
Yes, it would be
Yeah.
yes, it would be a motion to cancel the Mingle in Maine scheduled for May, whatever the date is. And then to number one, put on the website, and that refunds will be issued to vendors who purchased for the month of May only, and that refunds to vendors who purchased you called them multi-passes, Jody?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we called it.
Yeah, multi-passes will be pending determination of whether other mingles get canceled.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Can we get that motion made?
I'll make it a motion. Dave Felsing.
I'll second
I'll
that.
second it.
Not too late.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Yeah. Aye.
Any nays? Motion's carried.
One
Okay.
of those, I'm looking at my little fine print here. One of the May people who signed up for May only paid with cash. So he would be somebody I'd need to issue a check back to. But one check for $15 is where we would sit with that.
Okay. All right, the next item, continuing with park-related item discussions. We have a arts festival scheduled in September. As of right now, we have not opened anything to allow for vendors to sign up for the arts festival. We are seeing some large national events and international events being canceled, period, until the end of the year. What's council's thought? And it's my belief, and I'm labeling it as such, it's my belief that we can wait until the May meeting to make an absolute decision that we would still be able to pull it off if we opened things up after the May meeting. But does council have any desire to consider canceling it as of now?
No, I'm not considering it yet.
I think your thought's very good, Mary.
Yeah, I think so too, Mary. I think that if we can wait till May, because who knows what's going to happen between now and then. And some of these other big events are humongous events, bigger than our events ever are. So I think we can still get away with it if we wait till after the May meeting to see where everything sort of stands.
Okay, then we will put notices on the websites and so forth accordingly to tell people, because I know Sherry is getting calls on the park phone. Jody has had some contacts as well as I have. So we'll try to get the word out there that we are waiting until, and we'll give them the date in May to make a decision on the festival.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Is there anybody that doesn't agree with that? Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next, Jody and I have been attending a lot of webinars related to COVID-19 and potential for grant money for governments, things coming from PEMA and FEMA. The last one that we attended last Wednesday informed us that they expect the guidelines from PEMA and FEMA to be released within 2 weeks. Once those guidelines are released, they will organize for webinars to tell us how to fill out the paperwork. Eventually, there will be meetings that I will have to attend at the 911 center to go over all of our paperwork, our grant applications, reimbursement for additional police time, the reimbursement for the technical costs associated with having the meeting tonight. A lot of those things can go on those grants. When that time comes, it's typically a very short window of time that we have to actually turn in the paperwork. So I would like a motion to authorize that the mayor, the council president, or the manager file and sign any paperwork related to the grants available for COVID-19. And that way any of the three of us can sign when the time comes.
Motion, Carol.
For Scott, second.
Any discussion?
Yes,
All
I
in
got a
favor?
question on that.
Okay,
Will
Bill
we
has a
have
question.
will we have an opportunity to review the grant application before it's submitted and all the data that goes with it?
Oh, absolutely, because you're a major
Okay.
part of it.
That's good. Just want to make sure. That's all I have.
Okay, any other questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion's carried.
Okay, and then the last thing I would like to bring to your attention is related to Bill's request last month for the KDKA doghouse renovations. The field crew has been looking at that. They've gotten dimensions on the doors. They're looking at the shingling project and so forth, because a lot of that work is something they can do while they are still staying distant from each other. So I know that there is progress being made on that.
Sounds good.
Now,
Another
were they gonna do the roof and Don and I were gonna do the rest of it, or are they gonna do it all now?
I know that at a minimum, they're going to do the roof. But I will make sure that the employee gives you a call. He's one of the ones who's working evening shift, so he won't be calling you until after 2:30 in the afternoon.
It doesn't matter what time he calls.
Well, it
Well,
does.
after,
It does because,
after 10 o'clock it does.
yeah, if he can't talk to you during the morning part of the day, because otherwise we have to pay him call out time.
Yeah, well, I mean in the evening.
Yeah,
If he
yeah.
wants to call in the evening, not a problem.
Yep, okay.
The reason I haven't gone to look for doors and the old antique style doors is because the place that we were going to get it has been closed.
Mhm. Yep.
Unfortunately. It does not matter to me how we do it, but I think there's a time and a place for discussion about all of that in the future, but not now.
Yes. Okay, that's what I have for right now.
Mary, I got a question.
Yes.
I went by the park today. It looks like, did they grind the stump out and replant grass down there?
They didn't grind it. They manually removed it because of the condition it was in.
Okay, it looks good though, what they done.
Mm-hmm.
My tree.
Yeah.
Dave's tree, that's right. We're going to have to plant one there and call it Dave's tree.
You just leave it the heck alone. No planting anymore. They die, let them grow.
I love the way you're working on the pond out here. Pond.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think she's
Well,
talking about
at the end of Isabella's street.
Mary.
Oh, yeah, that's not the borough. The borough's not got anything to do with that.
Oh, somebody's been working on that pond.
Yes, it's the owner of the property.
He's doing a good job.
I just want to bring up if there's any way to keep that pond there with any development, we probably should do that because there's a lot of water, storm water created in that area.
Thank you, Bill.
And if that pond goes away, we don't have anywhere to put it except in
You're right.
an 8-inch line.
Were we supposed to be getting some sort of a stormwater plan from them whenever for their development plan for that lot?
Yes, when he does the development plan, he will have to include a stormwater plan.
Mary,
Okay.
would it be wise to have a discussion with them before they do their plan? You know,
Yeah, I would recommend that you have a pre-development conference with him and that you push him, if that is your intent, to keep the pond there. But it's always a
Well
good idea
said.
to have a pre-development conference and get an idea from him informally what he's going to do before he takes it to the planning commission. So you get an idea, and then at that point you can let him know what you're looking for, or through planning, so that before he comes in with formal, that way he doesn't spend a lot of money on plans and then you're saying do this and we want this, we want you to do this. He can say, okay, I'll incorporate it when I divide up the property.
Hey, but Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we approved something about that, and he was going to close out where the pond was. He's going to fill that in and put a warehouse on that. Is that not correct? And I believe they had that already approved. Am I wrong on that?
Well, what we approved was the lot line revision and the, we approved his lot line revision. He approached DEP and got all of the DEP clearances in order to fill in the pond. Until he actually turns in something of what he's planning to do on that property from a structural standpoint, there are no submittals required to us.
But we still should take Mike's advice and meet with this guy, talk to him about our stormwater problems that we have, and the money we don't have to repair that. I think it's an 8-inch line that goes down behind Zackrell's.
Yes.
And the engineering work that we had done down there, was that HRG or somebody that did part of the work on Water Street?
Yes.
Yes.
Did that work extend down that far, or not? Did the study that they did it extend up down that far, or no?
No.
Okay, it was
That's
just
right.
Okay.
And we're looking at $270,000, if I remember correctly, just for the installation. Mary, do you remember the number?
I believe you're pretty close.
Yeah, and we don't have that. So it would be wise if we could contact him and have a discussion about that. Taking Mike's advice.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And is that the planning commission that's going to have that discussion with him, or how should we approach that?
I would recommend that it should be from both planning and supervisors. So that way you have, don't affect a quorum and don't have to have a public meeting, but you can have the discussions. So, and you may want to have your engineer be there too and sit down and have that discussion.
Okay.
Or excuse me, not supervisors, but borough council.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yes.
I had a suggestion from one of our residents that for some reason people are doing a lot of burning on Sunday. And it was suggested that a note be put in, something that we mail out, reminding them that there is no burning on Sundays.
There's no burning on Sunday?
I thought there was.
I'm not sure about that. I think that we do allow burning on Sundays.
Yeah, we do.
I was going to say, I think that was one of the changes that was made the last time we did ordinances, and that we do allow burning on Sunday. It's just that the only thing that can be burned, no matter when they're burning, the only thing that can be burned is yard waste.
Okay, I'll tell the person.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember when we did that, being on the committee, we did just put it as yard waste and nothing else.
Right, because that's the DEP requirement.
Okay, good enough.
So do we need to make a decision on if we're going to move forward with talking to the owners of the property where the pond is that we were referring to? Do we need to do anything with that, Mary?
No, I think it's a matter of me trying to get a hold of him and
Okay.
seeing what I can do to arrange some kind of a meeting without getting close to each other.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Okay, so on to old business. Anybody have any old business to discuss? Okay, how about new business?
I have a question
Okay, go ahead.
that I got in the mail from the PSAB for the 109th annual conference in June at Hershey. It's June 7th through the 10th.
Yes.
I was wondering if anybody's going to go to that event.
I believe that has been canceled. Pat, do you remember for sure? Jody?
I think it's been canceled.
Okay.
It has been.
All right.
We've had so many cancellations, it's hard to keep them all straight, but yeah, it's been canceled.
I don't know if
Okay.
any are still going on in my mind. Do you know what I mean? All the invitations we got were rescinded. I think every single last one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any new business to talk about?
The only other thing under new business, we had a food truck vendor who
I was going to bring that up.
who applied for a permit.
Yes.
I've had discussion with Mike by email earlier today and yesterday regarding that, and regarding whether or not we can actually say no, we're not going to allow it during the pandemic and so forth. His recommendation to keep everything nice and clean is that we say that without the street being closed, because we have a 2-hour parking limit on the street. So without the street being closed, that the only thing they can do like that during the day is that they can have those food trucks set up in so-and-so. And it has to be a place where we would say, like, you can set up in the fire department carnival grounds. You can set up at the park. But it has to be a place that we can control to say, you're allowed to have it, but it has to be in the park. It cannot be on Main Street because of traffic flow when the street is open. I don't think the police chief would have any issues with us saying no.
No.
But we need to say, you can do it, but you have to do it, like I say, in the park is the place where we can tell them that they would have to be. What do you guys think? Because if we point blank tell them no, the solicitor's concern is that the governor has already said that that is an allowable business.
In the park's a good place. We own it, and you're right. We can control it down there.
Do
Yeah,
we
I'm
need
fine with
anybody
Barb.
to be monitoring that, though? Like, are we going to have people checking on where and when and how long they're there and all that stuff?
Well, he would still have to apply for a permit. He would have to go through the proper permit process, which he avoided this last time and didn't do, and that was part of the problem. So he would have to go through the proper permitting process. That notifies the police chief that there is a permit issued for the date and time and who the vendor is going to be. But it keeps him out of Main Street when the street is open. So Mike, did I misspeak on any of that?
No, you spoke my position well. I don't want to be in a position to ban something that's already been approved by the governor and have him come back and say, oh, you've banned me. I'm entitled to damages. I think it's better that as a municipality, we regulate it, not ban it.
Do we already have an existing ordinance about vendors on Main Street?
We have a solicitation ordinance that covers door to door, but we have not had vendor things such as this other than associated with an event. So unfortunately, the ordinance is very, very lacking in addressing specifically non-event food truck type things.
So do we need to address that and make a new ordinance or add to the ordinance existing?
It wouldn't hurt, I don't think, Mike.
Long term, short term, what I would do is make it an amendment to your emergency declaration. That way it's here, you just add the wording into the emergency declaration, because that takes care of it tomorrow. Long term, you can address it in your solicitation ordinance. Usually it doesn't happen because people aren't going to bring their trucks around when they know they can only park for 2 hours. So right. Yeah, it's something that, but short term, I would just suggest somebody make a motion to add it to the emergency declaration.
If it's in the emergency declaration, that also means that they have to maintain social distancing. What I witnessed with the burrito truck when it was up there was a group of 4, maybe 5 if you counted a child, that was standing right at the truck. So that would cover that as well, that problem as well.
Mary, does anybody know, does he use electricity? Does he plug his truck into anything?
If he's in front of his mom's property, he runs an extension cord. During mingles, when we started making him park on the other side of the street, he uses a generator.
Because the thing is with down at the park, he would need to plug into our electricity.
Or use a generator.
Or use a generator, okay.
Yep. Okay, I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that the motion had been made. Was there a second on that motion? I'm not even sure what exactly the details are of this motion. Can somebody clarify?
Yeah, why don't you add to the motion to be, it'll be basically because of traffic issues, limiting him to the park fairground area, and that, as Bill said, and subject to social distancing, with the specific language to be drafted by your solicitor and reviewed by Mary.
Or he can go into the park.
Yeah, wherever you want it. That's up to you.
I'll second the motion. Dave Felsing.
Okay.
And Carol, is that,
yeah.
are those changes okay with you? You made the original motion.
Yeah.
And Bill, or who seconded? Dave, you seconded? Are those changes okay with you?
That's fine. Perfect.
Okay, so any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's carried. Anything further under new business? Okay, so then if nothing further, we are in adjournment.
One last thing, real quick, if somebody wouldn't mind calling Pat to find out if she's okay. Does anybody know for sure why she didn't come to the meeting or join in?
She was on the authority meeting. I don't know why she didn't call into this one, but she had called into the authority meeting.
Mary and I saw her number pop up on our screen for this meeting. She was part of it for a moment there, but we never, I don't know if she's just muted and can't get out of mute or.
Is she 2494?
Yes,
Yes.
She is here in the meeting still.
okay.
Oh, okay. So
All right.
she's okay then. That's all
So
right. Good.
she's probably muted and can't talk back.
Yeah, and you can unmute.
Yeah, like I was. Like I was, and she didn't press star 6 at the end. That I accidentally didn't press that.
Yeah, so she's calling from her home phone. That's a landline phone, not a cell phone.
Yep.
I'm calling through my cell phone.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Pat is calling from a landline phone.
Yeah, sometimes you can't do it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Pat.
Pat.
Hi, I've been listening through the whole time and making motions and everything.
Oh,
You didn't
I'm
have
sorry,
to-
I didn't know what to do.
No, that's
Well, we
okay.
know she's okay.
I know that it happened, Pat. It happened to me until the mayor said to press star 6 again.
Yeah, well, when I heard you say that, that's what I did. So I'll know the next time because we'll probably have a conference meeting next month. Mary, has
I
there
try to
been
remember
anything?
it too.
Mary, has there been anything from our supposedly grocer coming in?
I have had one more phone call with him. Nothing set in stone yet. He's telling me he's waiting for paperwork to be able to be filed at the courthouse.
I think you said that before.
Yes.
It sounds like he's still in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I think they're still in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Sherry, with the
the new-
meeting being adjourned, would you like me to stop the recording?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.